Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to Girded with Truth. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, and let's get right into God's Word. So, today we're talking when life gets difficult. We all have situations and circumstances that are facing us, and it's easy to get tied down or distracted by all these situations coming at us. But God is saying today, when life gets difficult, still focus on Him. And today we're getting into solution disguised as strife. Strife happens in all of our lives, and in order to get past it, we have to go through it. We have to address these situations that have come to directly derail us from the destiny that God has for us. In Genesis chapter 13, verses 2 to 8 says, "And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold, and he went on his journeys from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Hai, unto the place of the altar, which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents, and the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle, and the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdsmen and thy herdsmen, for we be brethren." So to begin, let us define the word strife. Strife really means contention between two parties. It means provocation. So it's the idea of Abram and Lot's servants contending with each other and provoking each other and quarreling with each other all the time. And Abram saw this happening and he was like, no, this ought not to be. And he went to Lot and he said, we are brethren. Let us not have quarrel and strife and provocation in our own house, but instead let us live at peace with each other. And further on, Lot agreed to be separated from Abraham, and tomorrow we'll get into the separation aspect. But today we're talking about the solution that is disguised in strife. So Abraham was on a journey with God, and he was moving from one place to the other. But God brought him back to the first altar that he had established with him to talk to him. So when he came back to the altar, he called upon the name of the Lord. Him and God had this good relationship, and they spoke with each other. He cried out to God. They had this relational aspect at this altar. And right after he came from the altar, there was strife. Why was there strife? He prayed, he called upon God, and all these things happened. Shouldn't God stop the strife from happening? But I suggest to you today that because Abraham cried out to God, God sent a solution. But the solution doesn't just come as simple as God handing it to you. Sometimes the solution shows up as strife. Sometimes it shows up as contention. And there's two options in that. Either you fight the war that is happening, either you continue to quarrel and provoke each other, or you decide to separate. And I know we have this notion that God does not divide people, He does not create separation. But I suggest that this text actually says something different. This text talks about God separating Lot and Abraham. because maybe they were on two different journeys. Maybe God wanted to take them into two different directions, but they had the opportunity each to be used by God and to be carried on their own journey. Abraham and Lot did not have envy for each other. They did not jealous each other. They were not each other's haters, so to speak. But we see this bringing a separation that God had orchestrated, because the separation could have come through envy and jealousy and strife due to hating on each other. But that did not occur. God blessed them so much that they had to go separate ways, which tells me that God had a separate journey for Abraham than that he had for Lot. So not all the time the strife happens because of problems occurring because we hate each other, or because one of us is working for the devil and one is godly. Not all the time it happens like that, but Christians can disagree. In godly households there can be strife, and God is using this to bring a separation that would be a blessing to both Abraham and Lot in their specific way, according to their specific journey. So here we are seeing that after Abraham had prayed and cried and called out to God, strife came. So there was a solution of the thing Abraham was praying for, but it was wrapped up in strife. Abraham had just come out of Egypt with wealth and cattle and all these different things, and he was beseeching God for what's next. And while praying to God and calling on his name, as soon as he walked away from the altar, there was strife in his household. What was this strife for? Because God was calling him to greater. God was calling him to more. God was calling him to a different walk, a different lifestyle. And Lot was of his own household, but maybe their principles did not align. Maybe they were on different journeys. And when we have two people of the same household on different journeys, separation is inevitable. So we have these two people walking together, and they have come to this point and this place of separation. Not because one is good and one is evil, but because one is different from the other. We all have different journeys from each other. There is no competition because each one of us has a different purpose. But sometimes God uses strife to propel us into the next place and the next point of our destiny. And we have to reach the point where we do not quarrel with each other, we do not provoke each other, but we decide, okay, we will separate in peace, because God does not do anything without peace. Every step you have taken, every decision you have made must be done in peace, because God gives you peace on the inside. Even though situations may be fluctuating around you, there's peace on the inside of you, because God takes you to that place of peace, inner peace, that the world didn't give and the world can't take away from you. So you might be facing strife today, but God is saying, don't look at that as problems. Look at it as a solution. God is going to take that strife, turn it around, and use it as the fuel that will propel you into the next level of your destiny. Don't focus on the strife. Instead, stay focused on your destiny, and God will use it to take you into the next dimension. Accomplish your purpose, and do not see strife as a problem, but instead see it as a solution. You were born for this. You were created for this. Stand firm, flat-footed, knowing that God has put you in that position and He will bring you out on the other side. When life gets difficult, know that the solution is disguised in the strife. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye.